Ladies and gentlemen, our industry partners, alumni, postgraduate students, and academics. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. My name is Aishah and I am your moderator for today's webinar. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to welcome all of you to our Humanizing Innovation at MMU webinar series, which is an initiative by the Research, Industrial Collaboration and Engagement, RISE Division, and co-organized by the Center of Business Excellence Faculty of Management, or FOM. Thank you for being with us from wherever you are, from FB Live and also from MMU YouTube. And let us begin. With the rise of internet and mobile devices, cyberbullying, which is an act of bullying that occurs through the medium of digital media and devices, has become part of our modern world. We are aware of the usual mental and physical consequences of cyberbullying action, and these can have a negative impact on the mind of the victim. But what exactly is cyberbullying? And are we aware of the current situation of cyberbullying in Malaysia? So today we have with us two distinguished guests, namely Dr. Bahma Sivasubramaniam, specialist, Faculty of Management, and Lieutenant Colonel retired Mustaffa bin Ahmad, or affectionately known as Colonel Mus, Senior Vice President, Outreach and Capacity Building Division, CyberSecurity Malaysia. Okay, our speakers will enlighten us with their presentation titled Cyberbullying in Malaysia. Is it as bad as it sounds? So if you have any question that you wish Dr. Bahma or Colonel Mus to answer, you may post them in the chat box and we will entertain those questions during the Q&A session. So before we start the presentation, allow me to make an introduction of our first speaker, our very own Dr. Bahma Sivasubramaniam. Dr. Bahma is an experienced lawyer, academic, and trainer. She has a PhD in law from Durham University, United Kingdom. She is a barrister at law and advocate and solicitor of the High Court of Malaya. She is also a certified trainer under the Human Resource Development Fund, HRDF, and is a Chevening Scholar. Dr. Bahma's vibrant career as a litigation lawyer covered civil and commercial matters. She was an elected member of the Bar Committee for Kuala Lumpur for 3 consecutive terms. She was an active member of Kuala Lumpur of various Bar Council committees and served as editor of Insaf and Infoline. She is now an academic and teaches law to undergraduates, masters, and doctoral students. Currently, Dr. Bahma is spearheading a team of 15 professionals to carry out research into the feasibility of anti-cyberbullying law in Malaysia under the auspices of the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Bahma. Dr. Bahma, you have 20 minutes and the floor is yours. Over to you.
Okay, here we go. All right. Thank you, Puan Aishah, for that wonderful introduction. I also have an affectionate name as Dr. B, as you know. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking some time off to join us today and to find out something that is very important to all Malaysians. May I ask my slides be shared? I have some slides. I'm going to share those slides with you. And as we proceed, I will explain the whole story, my role, and indeed, Puan Aishah is also part of my team, our role in addressing cyberbullying issues. I need to see my slides properly. Yes, thank you. So cyberbullying, is it as bad as it sounds? Now, this is from a lawyer's perspective, legal aspect of it. Can we go next slide, please, Uktroy? I want to introduce my topic by telling you a little story. I've been talking about this story to my students. So here you go. This is Laurie Drew, 41-year-old housewife, mother of Megan's best friend and a close friend of Megan's mother. This is Megan Meyer, a schoolgirl, driven to suicide by nasty posts posted in social media by someone who she thought was a friend. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Right. Okay, this picture, I just put it for illustrative purposes. This is Josh Evans. He befriended Megan over social media and they became close friends, started sending nasty messages to her, such as everybody in O'Fallon. O'Fallon is a city town they live in. You are a bad person and everybody hates you, have a blah, 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 and all that. Okay. But the last one was the most depressing and serious sentence. The world will be a better place without you. Right? So Megan took that seriously, and while her mother was out to the dentist with her sister, Megan went up to her room and guess what? She committed suicide. Her body was found. Then police came, seized the computers, did forensic evidence and everything, and discovered that there was no such person as Josh Evans. It was actually Laurie Drew, the mother of her best friend, all right, who created this false account with her daughter and another associate, 18-year-old girl, and used this so-called boy named Josh Evans to attract his attention and to attract Megan's attention and be friends with her. And the whole motive of all these things was not a good motive. She basically was not being honest and nice person. She did this to trap poor Megan, but the consequences were very bad. Right. The next slide, please. Right. So what happened? Police then arrested Laurie Drew. She was charged for cyberbullying. Unfortunately, if there is no law, there is no crime. Okay, that's basic legal principle. No law, no crime. So here there was no law against cyberbullying. There was a law that is similar to our Computer Crimes Act. Okay, but it couldn't be applied. The provisions were irrelevant. So she was acquitted. Laurie Drew was acquitted and she was found not guilty because, like I said, there was no law. After this, then the state of Missouri passed a law called the Cyberbullying Prevention Act, which was also known as Megan's Law, but this was done after that. All right, next one, please. Next slide. All right, so now I'm going to talk to you about the Malaysian scenario. Next slide, please. Okay. And look at that. There's a lot of cyberbullying acts committed in Malaysia. Malaysia is second in Asia for cyberbullying problems, 6 out of 28 countries globally. So you have a lot of people being cyberbullied. The former Miss Universe, Miss Malaysia, she was cyberbullied, as well as the couple there, Nina and her Chinese boyfriend who lived in England. The cyberbullying was really, really bad. And then, of course, all of you know Ain Husniza, the schoolgirl who revealed that, the teacher was being sexist and making jokes against rape. She was cyberbullied like nobody's business, body shamed, cyberbullied, and so on. And the fact that the girl is still going strong goes to show that how determined she is. Okay, next one, please. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right, so you can see suicide rate is very high. Cyberbullying can be fatal. It's just not young people, children, it's also adults. Adults are cyberbullied and they have committed suicide. For example, 2 Korean serial stars committed suicide within weeks of each other. And then Japanese Netflix star, she also committed suicide because of cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is a very serious issue. All these examples I've given you are examples of people who have suffered physically. But the mental torture and the trauma they go through is as serious as physical injury. Okay, next one, please. right? So these are the various types of cyberbullying. All right, so you have flaming, you have impersonation, exclusion, harassment, and so on. All right, so cyberbullying. So that is why we need to have a definition of cyberbullying that is wide and encompasses all these examples that I have just given you. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right. Now, this is the Malaysian example. This was the girl down there. She committed suicide last year, and then the boy Tay Wen Chun also he also committed suicide because his friends humiliated him in Facebook. The girl, she put up a TikTok of her dancing with her colleague. It was a simple, happy. She was also a young girl, just finished her SPM, and she was working with 7-Eleven, and somebody took her TikTok, posted in Facebook, and invited all kinds of nasty comments. All right, and this girl committed suicide even though the parents lodged complaints with MCMC as well as the police. The person who ran this page is on the run now, and police are looking. I was told that the police have arrested him. I'm not sure yet, but at the moment, this was the trigger, or this was the event that triggered off our interest in cyberbullying. That what are we going to do about it? Next one, please. Thank you. So a research team from MMU approached the Honorable Minister of Communications and Multimedia, YB Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, to look into the prospect of establishing a standalone law to address cyberbullying. The team was alarmed at the rise of cyberbullying cases in Malaysia, and the suicide of Divya Nayagi was the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, next one, please. Thank you. So we went to see him, now he's a foreign minister, but he was very supportive and he told us to go ahead. So we went ahead. Okay, next one, please. Now, what we found that our work, whatever our work that we were going to do, was actually in conformity with Malaysia's national and international obligations. So under the cybersecurity strategy, pillar 2, strengthening legislative framework and enforcement. So we have enhancing Malaysia's cyber laws in addressing current and emerging threats. For us, cyberbullying is a current and emerging threat. Next one, please. Right? International stance, most of you will know about the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, leave no one behind, and our project fits in many of those goals. And if you look at what the Secretary General said, UN Special Representative, not the Secretary General, UN Special Representative of the Secretary General said, preventing and addressing bullying will no doubt contribute to the promotion of safe and non-violent learning environments and to the elimination of physical, sexual, and emotional violence that the SDG seeks to guarantee. Now, all of you know now, especially during the pandemic time, people are using the internet more often. People are interacting. People are ordering goods, and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram has become this very vibrant social platforms. Right? So as much as there are good things from the social platforms, there are also negative aspects of it, and cyberbullying is one of them. Next one, please. All right. So these are the issues of concern. What were the issues of concern? Again, survey conducted showed that Malaysians were cyberbullied. Some of the concerns that we had was people did not know what to do, where to go, how and who to approach. And one of the main things that, in our opinion, was that existing laws in Malaysia are not adequate. Again, we examined this very carefully. Next slide, please. Why do we need a specific law? Okay, we have different laws, right? We have the Penal Code, we have the CMA, Communication Multimedia Act, and so on. But we want one-stop center. Okay, this is what we are going to do. This, if somebody is being cyberbullied, or if an authority is dealing with an issue of cyberbullying, they know where to go. Okay, so why do we need the law? First of all, we said, why do we need a specific law? It's not that we don't have a law, we do, but we say we need a specific law. Why? First of all, existing laws are inadequate. Secondly, we are moving away from punishing. Okay, we want to give remedies as well. All right, because some people who cyberbully do not know that they are cyberbullying. They think they're being funny. They think they're saying things out of, and for fun. And, they don't take it seriously. They don't consider the effect those comments they make on the victim. All right. Then the categories of offenders. So you have young children. We have 15-year-old or a 16-year-old. We have older persons. All right. So how do we deal with it? We cannot deal, let's say, a 14-year-old cyberbully as the same as a 40-year-old cyberbully, right? Obviously, the intelligence, the intellectual maturity are two different aspects at two different levels altogether. And then the targeted victims. What can the victim do when he or she is by cyberbullying? Then we will look at the mental element. Okay, did he do on purpose? Was it on mistake? Or did he do it recklessly, not caring the effect of his comments have on the victims? All right. And then, of course, extraterritorial jurisdiction. In other words, if a person in Singapore is bullied by a person in Malaysia, how does the law react? Okay. So, but the main thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the purpose of our research is to push for a law which is just not to punish, but to protect. Okay. Next one, please. All right, so the questions that arise: what is cyberbullying? What are the rights of netizens who have been cyberbullied? What are the obligations of netizens who are cyberbullies? What can the law do? Next slide, please. Okay, so how Malaysians feel about cyberbullying? Now, our research team, we did a lot of work, but this is the most relevant for our particular forum today. We did two questionnaires. So one was for the general public and one was for the members of the legal profession. And we did it through virtual, we did it through Google Forms. So these were the respondents that we got. Next one, please. Okay, so this is why we wanted to know from the lawyers, what are the issues you have if people come to you, the problem of cyberbullying? What do you do? Do you go to the court? Do you go to the police? Okay, so we wanted to know both feedback from both general public as well as the legal profession. Next one, please. All right, so this is the initial findings. This is a brief overview. Okay, so this was the public survey. And next one, please. All right, so as you can see, people have been cyberbullied or they know somebody who's being cyberbullied. Mostly is done Facebook, and this was a startling fact. What do you do after you experience cyberbullying? And the answer was nothing. 61% said nothing. Okay, next one, please. All right. So create a new law. Overwhelming 89.3% of public, okay, wanted a new law. Next one, please. All right. So legal survey. Again, this was the respondents 409. Okay, next one, please. All right. So knowledge how to proceed after receiving a complaint of cyberbullying. 31% not sure. 28% said we don't know. Ability to identify applicable laws to cyberbullying, more than 50% of the respondents said no or they were unsure. All right, so this fortifies again our argument that we need a standalone law. Next one, please. All right, so 71 says yes, we need a standalone law. Next one, please. Now I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the proposed law. Obviously, we don't have time, but what I'm saying is we are taking positive action from the legal perspective. All right, it's not that we are keeping quiet. The government is not keeping quiet. We are doing something about it. It's still work in progress. Okay, so what we need, standalone law that will punish the perpetrators, protect the victims, and rehabilitate. And this is what is known as restorative justice. Okay, restorative justice. We don't want to put people in prison for some small problem, or if we can rehabilitate them and teach them what they are doing is wrong, that is a big step for us. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so what is restorative justice? Is a process that involves all parties affected, that means the offenders and the victims, by participating in the process on how to deal with the offense and plan. This process involves victim of offender mediation, family group conference, and circle sentencing. Restorative justice requires both the perpetrators and the victims to exchange information regarding incidents of bullying. The perpetrator is required to repair or to amend the harm as agreed by both the perpetrator and the victim, as well as to integrate the relationship of both. This makes the perpetrator directly responsible for the victim and excuse me, and at the same time reduces the victim's fear. It encompasses both restorative process and restorative remedies. What do we mean by restorative remedies? Don't put him in prison, but make him do community work. Send him to the orphanages or the old folks home and make him do that kind of community work so that he knows what life is really about. Okay, next one, please.
Dr. Bahma,
Yes,
you
thank you.
have 5 minutes to
Oh dear.
sum up your
Okay, I have
presentation.
noticed. All right, then in that case, we'll skip this slide because I'm just talking about restorative justice. All right, so let me sum up what we've done. Can we just go to the next slide? All right, so what we've done is, ladies and gentlemen, since we do not have, I only have 5 more minutes, I'm going to tell you what we've done. We are taking the approach of Australia and New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand have set up alternative mechanisms to handle questions of cyberbullying, issues of cyberbullying. So you don't go to the court, you don't go to the police, okay? You go to the e-safety commissioner, or in New Zealand, they are known as NetSafe. You lodge a complaint and they will come and they will call you and they will mediate. So here you go, deter, prevent, and mitigate harm, provide victims of harmful digital communications with a quick and efficient means of redress. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so they can do this, they can investigate, they can assess complaints, they can dismiss the complaints if the complaints are frivolous. They can, this is what I like, okay, they can advise, negotiate, mediate, and persuade. And then they can also instruct the ISPs to do something about the complaint of cyberbullying. And at the same time, they do not oust the jurisdiction of the courts or the police. So if the cyberbullying crime is really serious, then they can refer the matter to a court of law and they can ask the police to take necessary action. Next one, please. All right, so this is what I said earlier on. They can dismiss the complaint if it's trivial, frivolous, or vexatious. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so impact and benefits of Malaysia. So we have the once we create this law, this will be in line with what this slide says, focusing on UN's recommendation that law against cyberbullying have holistic characteristics and given a liberal and flexible construction. And then we looked at both the Australian and the New Zealand Act, and you can, as I've already explained to you, the proceedings are not formal, complex, or expensive. You know, a lot of people are very scared to go to the police. They are very scared to go to the court. Okay, so they keep quiet about it. And we discovered this when we were attending webinars organized by UNICEF. All right, and then the cost is minimal. You don't have to hire a lawyer. All right, you just bring your parents or a friend, you know, and then they have a wide discretion. They can look at the seriousness of the complaints and so on. All right, and next slide, please. Okay, so this is what I've already explained to you earlier. Healthy digital environment, beneficial to society. You see, our government is looking to set up or building a sophisticated digital society. And if you have issues of cyberbullying, that's a barriers people don't want to go, right? They don't want to use the internet. So this would actually provide a healthy digital environment. And the best part is we will be, well, it's not the best part, but it's a feather in our cap. If we have a special law, we will set a precedent for other ASEAN countries. Okay, next one, please. Right, so these are recommendations I've already explained earlier on, that we should have a special law because we are committed internationally to the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child. We must incorporate those provisions in the treaty into our national law. We are proposing definitely a standalone law that will follow the models of set by Australia and New Zealand. And I think we are, and next one, please. Right, so I already explained to you, so I'm not going to repeat it. Okay, basically the proceedings are friendly, user-friendly, cheaper, less complex. They are not so dominating or daunting. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening very patiently to me. I hope that you have learned a few things from the legal point of view. All right, and if any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you, Pon Aishah. Go back to you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bahma, for the interesting, informative talk. As mentioned by Dr. Bahma, Malaysian rank second in ASEAN country for cyberbullying and 6 of 28 countries globally. So this is a very serious matter, and that is why Malaysia needs a specific and standalone law to combat cyberbullying. Thank you, Dr. Bahma, once again. Now we come to our second speaker, Colonel Moose. I shall read to you his impressive introduction. Colonel Moose is a Senior Vice President, Outreach and Capacity Building, Division of Cybersecurity, CSM, an agency under the purview of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia. Prior to joining cybersecurity in 2007, Colonel Moose has served more than 18 years in the Malaysian Armed Forces in various capacities, including a stint as a United Nations military observer in Western Sahara, Africa, and his last post as the commanding officer of the 6th Battalion of Royal Malay Regiment. He holds a bachelor and master degree in mass communications and political science from the University of Wisconsin, USA, a postgraduate diploma in strategic studies from University Malaya, and a graduate of the prestigious Malaysian Armed Forces Staff College. He is also a certified Chief Information Security Officer. So beware. Colonel Moose is also recognized as a leader in internet security and digital citizenship, where he has been invited as panelist in forums, webinars, and conferences. He has appeared in numerous radio and TV talk shows to instill a coloration of cybersecurity among Malaysians. Again, if you have any questions that you wish Colonel Moose or Dr. Bahma to ask, feel free to put it down in the chat box and we will attend to it during the Q&A session. So, Colonel, time is 11, over to you, and I will trigger you 5 minutes before the end of the show. Thank you.
No problem, Madam Moderator. Thank you so much. First and foremost, can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning to everybody who are viewing this webinar and watching out there. I'm very worried. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Mustaffa bin Ahmad, retired. That's why I spell it properly. Sometimes when they put RTD, people might also be trying to bully me, saying that, are you retarded? No, I'm not. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we've seen Dr. Bahma's splendid presentation from the law perspective, from legal perspective, but from my perspective as a practitioner, as an industry practitioner, and it's a little bit slightly different. I have to show you 140 slides within 20 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. There will be some few slides to share with you, and I also have some videos. I know you guys, this Gen Y, Gen Alpha, Gen Z ni, dia suka video, dia tak suka baca-baca banyak-banyak. So that's why I'll have some videos for you, some interesting one. But don't worry, those videos are all filtered already. If you want to go and see those videos yang mana ni, come and see me. But don't just kidding. All right, let's go to the next video. Next slide, please. This is a video about 1 minute on the current situation in Malaysia, not only on cyberbullying, but the overall on how the cyber violence. Please listen to it.
Dunia cyber telah menyentuh hampir setiap insan dan merubah arus sejarah tamadun manusia buat selamanya. Pembangunan dan perkembangan teknologi yang pesat pada masa ini dipacu oleh kesaling hubungan manusia daripada setiap pelosok dunia yang bekerjasama untuk kebaikan dan kemakmuran sejagat. Sebagai warga negara digital, kita harus menjadi pengguna internet yang beretika dan menggunakan teknologi cyber secara membina. Walaupun kita boleh berselindung di sebalik identiti palsu, pada asasnya, cara kita berkomunikasi di rangkaian media sosial menggambarkan jati diri kita yang sebenar. Tidak salah untuk berhibur dan bersosial di alam cyber. Namun, jika berhibur secara keterlaluan, padah yang bakal menimpa. Dan inilah yang kita lihat hari ini. Sudah terbukti, salah guna teknologi membawa impak negatif kepada tubuh, minda dan rohani kita. Penggunaan teknologi cyber secara keterlaluan berpotensi menyebabkan pelbagai masalah. Risiko keretakan rumah tangga juga meningkat dengan penggunaan teknologi cyber. Adakah ini hasil teknologi cyber yang kita mahukan? Marilah sama-sama kita terapkan konsep kewarganegaraan digital dengan menjadi pengguna internet dan media sosial yang bermoral, beretika dan berintegriti. Sentiasa bijak, sentiasa selamat, bersama-sama ke arah kesejahteraan cyber.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here today to instill any fear or any the bad thing about the internet. Technology is there to stay, but the problem is that are we going to embrace the technology? We should not have technology use us, but we should be using the technology. So now the next slide, we will be talking about what are the issues on cybersecurity amid the COVID-19 crisis. Next, please. We can see that the potential of technology amid the COVID-19 crisis, that while we may be familiar with consequences of interested parties, they are now monitoring our online behavior through the new technologies, and such parties may have access to our offline information, body temperature, blood pressure. I'm sure some of you ada yang jam tangan semua tu. These are the things. So next, please. And this is running about security and privacy. And because of this COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Penang at the moment, and I'm so teruja. I'm so happy that I have a workshop down here. Yesterday, I was driving from Kuala Lumpur with my family, and we can see the greenery. Wow! After 8 months in the room, now I can see sawah padi, I can see pokok getah. It's just a big relief. But then again, for the past 8 months, when we were at home, what happened? And some of these things that among all this, there are also risks that those who live alone. Again, I have to quote this adding that men, but not men, ada juga women could become addicted to online pornography, and adolescents with too much time on their hands with computer games, social media, and that's what happened to me. I have 5 children, the 4 children dah okay, yang seorang tu at home, who is at form 5, kejap-kejap buka pintu, dia main game. So we are worried. We are now with this game yang kata, with among other, through gaming also, people can start cyberbully each other. Next, please. Then we talk about what have parents should be doing now. I'm sure most of you are undergraduates, but those of you who are continuing education, we have families. Now your responsibility are even bigger. PDPR, all those things, work from home, you have all this. But how do you cope up? How do you ensure that your children are coping with their curriculum, with their syllabus? Because right now, with this, cyber parenting, it's become a new thing at the moment. You have more responsibility and what more work to do also from your work. So now it is something that a new phenomenon, and we have to adapt it. Next, please. And last but not least, we are talking about cyberbully. And as you know, Microsoft study and what Dr. Bahma said just now shows that every 4 in 10 teens involved in cyberbullying. And in Malaysia, they did a study, 40% of teenagers in 32 countries, including Malaysia, say that they've been involved in a bullying accident as the target of the bullying, someone who displayed bullying behaviors, and also a bystander. And meanwhile, 77% of adults said that they were involved in a bullying incident. So now, kita nampak benda ni every day. Especially kalau katalah right now, what happened in Melaka and what happened next, coming July next year, with the PRU. The politician are the one who are mostly being bullied. I mean, silap sikit cakap dia, or komen-komen yang teruk-teruk. So what is happening to Malaysia at the moment? Orang kata, I mean, even though, I mean, I know lah, the politicians are all very resilient. Whatever you say to them, nothing happen. But then again, but they are also human beings. And a lot of celebrities. There is a saying that, kalau cakap Melayu kata, kalau takut dia lambung ombak, jangan berumah di tepi pantai. But I think they should also, as a politician, as a celebrity, they do have the right to access of the internet, and anything they do, they are still human beings. So okay, now I think I don't want to touch about this because I think you all know, Cik Burhan, I mean our technician, you just know these are all the types of cyberbullying is happening, frapping, trolling. Trolling yang interesting sikit lah, because I think this is the trolling and cyberbullying, there's a fine line. Kalau cakap Melayu, trolling ni apa ni? Trolling kadang menganjing, make people angry, and all those things. So where is the line in between whether you go, whether you can cross the line or not? But then again, I'm sure, like Dr. Muhammad has said just now, cyberbullying ni is not the first message or the second message or the 1,000 message. Cyberbullying is the kesan on the victim. It's what happened to the victim. That is what will be on cyberbullying. So be careful, guys out there. And these are some of the contoh I think Dr. Bahma have said just now. And this little girl, kata from Sarawak, on their Instagram, she do a voting, D for death, L for live, because she was so fed up with the life and everything what happened to her. And yang menakutkannya, 69% of respondents mungkin nak main-main ke apa-apa, but they vote for death. And actually, budak perempuan ni kill herself, throw herself outside from the window. And okay, yang ni lain pula ceritanya Hanisa ni. She's a model. Malangnya dia ni kulit dia hitam sikit lah. That's why they said dia macam baca aswad, bubble tea. But then again, the mother, this is what a good example on orang kata the family, orang kata giving her the support. Terus buat report police, and then the guy make a public apology. This is what we need. This is what we should be looking into. That family members, that they are pleased for people to count on, to report on, and this is what we're trying to say. And of course, tadi dah cakap dah. Okay, next please. Ni yang happen in Penang, and Alina Banana, dia tu badan dia besar sikit. So people, I don't know why manusia, when the human being, they always orang kata looking for the bad thing. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do, you are not alone. Because when you do such to somebody else, someone is looking from up there. So be careful. Okay, next please. So now, what can we do? So in Malaysia, I mean, we have done some studies. I think Dr. Bahma have done that one. So these are some of the, in cybersecurity, there are three tiers on the process, the people, and the technology. On the people, we see that a lot of people are lack of awareness on cyberbullying among internet users. The process, there are no clear act and laws, is what Dr. Muhammad said just now. And government acts and on internet filtering need to be revised. Until look, go back, Cik Burhan. Lalu sangat, pelan-pelan. And we can see that the lack of information sharing among authority is yes. Like kami pun antara cybersecurity, MCMC, and PDRM, we do receive a lot of complaints, a lot of issues, but it's quite difficult for us to share because of the privacy, so on and so forth. And last but not least, the current infrastructure in technology, and with the no filtering of people going to the porn website, and also the lack of technology to track. Because right now, what we call the jumping IP, so on and so forth, is almost impossible. At one time dulu, yes, we can go and track people, but not now anymore. So these are the gaps that we found out. Okay, next please. Then this is the one where we're talking about what we have received from 2012 until 2021. Until as of July 2021, there about last year alone. Bila PKP tu jadi, sudden growth, sudden fluctuation of report that we received, 596, and now of July dah 267. And I'm not surprised that we can go about to 600 to 700 reports that we receive on cyberbullying. Not only on cyberbullying, but other, like what do you call it, hasutan delik, so on and so forth. Okay, next please. Then these are the 5 common types of cyberbullying. Yang tadi kita cerita pasal frapping itu satu, but ini yang kami terima dari segi report. Yang paling banyak yang satu ni adalah threats to spread video. This is a thing like just like a syndicate, di mana where the selalunya lelaki atau men, they like to contact people, right? So you can see on the Facebook some nice pictures, someone who wants to be friend with you from Indonesia, from the Philippines, but be very careful. These people are going to trap you. They're going to, they said, okay, I'll show mine if you show yours. That is what happening. That is what happening. And I've received a lot of phone call. Dia kata, Colonel Mus, how can you help me? I mean, I've done this. The guy know my wife's number. The guy know my parents' number. And this is the top. I mean, this is a classic case of not only cyberbullying, it is a crime. Fake profile or rampantly. People overtake identity theft. And yang paling takut oleh politician is that somebody took over their Facebook and they make all kind of statement saying that they have something wrong with the with the government, so it will be trouble for him. Distributing messages, the victim is harassed with dissatisfied messages over the victim's relationship with his partner. Ini yang katakan the revenge porn. Masa bercinta, wow, dia kata bertukar-tukar gambar, so on and so forth. Tapi apabila bergaduh, ni yang kata dia start coming out with all kind of gambar-gambar yang mana mereka dulu semasa bercinta. And dissemination of false defamatory information and comments that are mocking or cursing. Itu biasalah dia cakap-cakap yang kata itulah I kesian macam yang Ain Husna tu. I mean she's being there talking about her rights and everything, but somehow or other people start banging, start doing all those kind of things. I mean, and then you can see a teenager like that. I mean, kalau I think in physical life, masalahnya people when in physical life, I don't think they could say all that thing. But because they are behind a monitor and they have a keyboard, they will do a lot of kind of bad things. Perkataan yang keji yang dia keluar. Okay, next please. Okay, now what do you do when somebody cyberbully you? First and foremost, you have your places to report. Later on, I have one slide for you to take down, take a screenshot of that. Then these are the people that you can report. Then next one, what you have to do, you feel that you are being victimized, please report those things. And also on the media, social at the moment, there are so many ways of on Instagram, on Facebook, report abuse. Do that, use that. Don't worry, they will take care of you. What you have to do, gather the evidence, taking a screenshot of the online message post and the account used to carry the harassment messages, perform and also on your part, perform privacy setting on the social media account. Janganlah buat public, ensure that your social media account, you have only friends only, contact only. Share the incident with trusted people. Macam tadi yang Hana buat, tell the mother and the mother hantam that guy. And then dia apa? So these are the things that kita nak kena support. And kalau last but not least, kalau dia kata ni, do not respond to the harassment. Block those guys over there. This is what you should be doing. Next, please. And these are all the numbers. Please take a screenshot. You have the 15999. You have on the Insta platform, Media Social, Polis Diraja Malaysia, Mercy International pun ada, MC, Befrienders, and of course, you can also report to us, Cyber99. We can mitigate the problem and we can put to the right authorities. So this is how you should do. These are the saran-saran yang berikut. Because memang akan berlaku. And kadang-kadang we as parents, janganlah pula kata-kata we are worried about our children become a victim. Be careful also. Look, tengok anak-anak tu kadang-kadang they can become the perpetrators. You never know of what the things they can do because it's all behind the machine. Next, please. Then how to educate social media users? So we at CyberSecurity Malaysia, we have our program that orang kata as what Dr. Bahma was saying just now, the mantan minister, he said that there must be a langkah-langkah pencegahan on awareness, on training that we have to do for all this, for our organization and also for the public. So next please. And we can see that, and I would like to also to bring that, especially for the Muslim, dalam surah Al-Hujurat, they have about 10 dah mengatakan bagaimana we should be panduan kita melayari alam cyber. Then first and foremost, he said sabaru. We have to be patient. La talmizu. Do not menghina. Do not mengutuk. Fatabayyanu. Menyiasat. La tanabayazu. That means you jangan panggil antara orang nama-nama yang samaran yang tak menyinggungkan. fa'aslihu, mendamaikan. So there must be somebody who are making two things together. Elakkan andaian negatif. So that means you should not be having bad impression. You should not be orang kata elusive. So and also bertindak dengan adil. You have to be fair. Ini jangan mengintip. Do not stop. Jangan mengejek. And then last sekali, jangan berkata-kata di belakang. So macam mengumpat. Memang dah ada dah. And we can use this from Dr. Fauzan from UIA saying that from this, you should do this, how to act when you are online. Next, please. Now, we at CyberSecurity Malaysia, we do have our cyber ethics. We have all this law in place. Thank you, Dr. Bahma, doing all this good thing from MMU. But what we are looking right now at the moment is have to educate people for them to self-regulate. Because we have all kind of laws, but still people do it. There's no point. But it's the most important thing that you self-regulate yourself. You do unto you what you would do unto others. So that's why avoid browsing obscene, abusive, racist, insult, seductive content. Do not download useless content. Save appropriate content in your digital gadget. Share irrelevant content. So do not do all this. And also, in Malaysia, I was in the military before when I was in one of the military studies. We do that. In every country, there is one word that we call it the center of gravity. In Malaysia, the center of gravity. Other countries like Japan, they have their economy as their center of gravity. But if you attack the center of gravity, that the country will go haywire. But in Malaysia, we do have a lot of natural resources. But the most important center of gravity in Malaysia is our race relation, on how we treat our fellow other races, our other religion. Because if any country would like to attack us, to make us kucak-kacing, what they do is they will kacau our internet, our racial relationship, and this is what we have to really hold to ourselves to ensure that. And the best place to do this is on the media social. So please do that. Okay, next please.
Colonel?
Yes, I have 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay. All right. So this is the framework that we have, that we are introducing. We call it the National Cyber Ethics Initiative. That we have this 9 element of digital citizenship, but we want to mendokong the rukun negara. The principle number 5, kesopanan dan kesusilaan. Basically, if you have on the physical part, you should also do only when you're on the cyber. So you can see that under digital citizenship, digital etiquette, digital law, so on and so forth. So we are doing this, and we are advocating this, and also putting this part of our education plan. And inshallah, somewhere in the end of the in end of November, we have developed the modul keselamatan cyber di kalangan murid-murid sekolah. So we are hoping to and one of the subject is cyberbullying. We are hoping that with that we can educate our children at a young age and be good.
Colonel, we can't hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, we seems to lost Colonel.
Yeah, I know. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Your 5 minutes is still up, yeah.
I know. I sound like Michael Jackson. Arwah. I'm back. Okay, now let's keep all this in the next 5 minutes. I want to show you one very important video, which is happening rampantly to teenagers, and I mean I'm saying that banyak budak-budak Melayu terlibat. Let's go to that, Cik Burhan. Let's go to that video. I think it's quite important video. Not the not this one. Next, please. So I think we can go to that, then people can understand the important. Here also remember your digital footprint. Everybody knows. Be careful about digital footprint. Wherever you go, people know where you go. And then I would like you to kita play the last video. I think it's a very important video. Media 3. Yeah. I think right. Okay, please look at this video.
Kawan yang kenalkan kami. Masa mula-mula kenal tu, bila nak spend time, mesti lepak ramai-ramai. Tapi bila dah berani sikit, mula keluar 2 orang. Bila dah mula suka tu, hari-hari mesej. Makan, minum, tidur, semua nak update. Saya tengok ramai kawan-kawan saya yang buat macam tu. Jadi saya ingat benda tu benda biasa. Saya pun okey lah. Jadi saya send je gambar. Hari-hari mesti send gambar. Ada sekali tu saya pergi sekolah. Saya tengok budak lelaki semua pandang saya semacam. Patutlah dia share gambar tu dengan orang lain. Time tu saya rasa saya ni bodoh sangat. Bila saya minta break, dia ugut. Dia kata nak hantar gambar tu kat page sekolah. Dia nak hantar gambar tu dekat mak ayah saya. Saya rasa stres sangat-sangat time tu. Sampai hari-hari saya fikir nak bunuh diri. Sekarang ni gambar-gambar saya ada kat dia. Jadi saya tak boleh nak lari daripada dia. Saya tak tahu nak buat apa. Saya benci budak tu. Saya benci sekolah. Saya rasa malu sangat. Saya betul-betul menyesal.
Alright. So be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Memang banyak berlaku dia. So many of these things happen. Masa bercinta tu, tukar gambar, tukar apa semua ni. But then when something bad happen, that's where people start threatening each other, and that is a crime, and that is cyberbully. So I think with that, Puan Aishah, Dr. Bahma, I think I would like to say as a lawyer that I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel Mustaffa, for that very enlightening presentation, including the heart-touching video. From the presentation, we are now aware that cyberbullying does have a correlation with the current COVID-19 pandemic, and that there are various certain gaps such as people, processes, and technology that needs to be addressed immediately in our effort to reduce the number of cyberbullying cases in Malaysia. Thank you very much once again, Colonel Mus.
Right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook and on YouTube, we now comes to the most interesting session, which is the Q&A session. Okay, we will have about 20 minutes Q&A session, and I welcome the audience to participate in the Q&A session. You can post your question in the chat book, and you can ask any questions that any burning questions that you would like to pose now. And I'm sure that Dr. Bahma and Colonel Mus will be delighted to answer your questions. Okay, so right. May I know from the organizer if there's any question on the Facebook Live now? Okay. So, right. So, whilst waiting for the questions, maybe I think this is the privilege of being moderator. You can ask the speakers first. Okay. So, Dr. Bahma, I would like to pose these questions to you. Cyberbullying means differently to people based on their interpretation and based on their situation. And as illustrated in various scholarly articles, there is no one universal definition. So can you enlighten us in terms of how you would define cyberbully in the context of Malaysian situation? Thank you. Dr. Bahma, over to you.
Yes, we have a new participant. I was quite excited.
Sorry for that advertisement.
No, it's okay.
I think you just
Very
ask
nice.
questions on behalf of the cat.
Okay. Right. Over to you.
Nice.
Let's go
Nice.
back. Thank you so much, Puan Aishah. Yes, you are right. There is no universal definition of cyberbullying. The research that we discovered showed that the most common thread was repeated act. But we feel that repeated act, it's too much, you know. Even a single act of cyberbullying even a single act can amount of cyberbullying. So end of the day, it should be the effect of that particular cyber post that had on the victim. Okay, like Colonel said just now, all right, treat people the way you want to be treated. And as you know, that is a basic principle of computer netiquette. When you put something there, think how you would feel if somebody sends that message to you. All right, the seriousness, as far as we are concerned, we will look at the intention of the bully. So it could very well be that he was just being funny, but sometimes being funny can have extreme consequences. All right, people think it's funny when they posted that TikTok of TV and Naigi, right? They thought they were doing it for fun, but then the comments that TikTok received, which was totally disgusting. Like again, like Colonel said just now, Ein Husniza, okay, Ein Husniza for saying something that had happened in a school which had affected her and the girls. And I particularly remember this. The girls kept quiet while the boys were laughing because they think it's funny. For a teacher to say something about rape, you know, you want to rape someone, make sure it's above age of consent. I mean, come on, really. Whatever been said and done, that's not the message that you should deliver to the students. But again, people looking at what had happened in classroom, people were looking at the fact that she had actually revealed it to the Malaysian public and then started attacking her. So here, the accuser became the victim. All right. And luckily for her, she has very strong and supportive parents. Her father is very supportive, and I know him. I keep in touch with him and all that. They are now being sued for defamation. Okay, so you can see how serious it has become, right? So because there is no law or there is no boundaries, you know, people think they can do what they like in cyberspace. You can't. There was this boy who wrote very bad messages, you know, very not bad, threatening messages. If I see you on the street, saya akan tikam kamu. You know, go and report to the police. You think police, I mean, insulting the police somehow. Of course, the police got very angry. Okay, you think what police can do all this? They cannot find where I am. But actually, it's stupid because it is easy to trace. Yeah. So he was arrested. He's a fresh graduate from the United Kingdom, came back to Malaysia, and this is what he did. He threatened her with physical harm. Again, like that video we saw about that poor girl who was saying, saya tak tahu nak buat apa, nak rasa nak bunuh diri, and all that. This is what I was saying earlier on. The emotional and the mental trauma on the victim is much stronger, or I would say scarier than the physical harm. Physical harm, you can, you know. So again, going back to your question, what cyberbullying means, obviously it's bullying through online. Okay, like I said, bullying on the playground or bullying in school has now trespassed to cyberspace. So you have bullying through online medium, and then of course your gadget, whether it's your phone or your laptop or your tablet or your computer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, your smartphone is considered as a computer in law. Okay, so under the Computer Crimes Act, the definition of a computer is very wide. Any device that can be used for interaction, storage of data, and communication purposes is considered as a computer. So your smartphone, whatever messages or whatever you're doing through your smartphone is a computer crime. Okay, so anything offensive that is committed over the phone, all right, but we are going for not just physical harm, we are going for mental and emotional distress. We are also looking at the seriousness or intensity of the offense, of the act, rather than the repeated requirement that other academics have focused on. All right, so we are going to make it very simple, very short, very simple. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bahma, for the lengthy explanation. Yeah, you answered the question. So let's go to Colonel Mus. Colonel Mus, you mentioned about the lack of awareness on cyberbullying among internet user. Okay, and internet user comes from a various range of age. So, in your view, how can this level of awareness be improved or be increased so that we can reduce, if we can't eliminate cyberbullying, at least reduce the number of cyberbullying incidents. Over to you, Ken.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. A very good question indeed. And this is the effort of the government at the moment. We are doing advocacy program by CyberSecurity Malaysia, by MCMC, by also other NGOs. They are trying to go as deep as possible and to make people aware. But the problem in any advocacy program, when we do talk, when we do ever, and then they say, yes, I hear you, I listen to you, but the problem is that, do I do or not? Saya tukar tak perangai saya berubah tak behavior saya. And this is the problem, the impact is that. So that's why what we are doing at CyberSecurity Malaysia, we have our Cyber Safe in School. We are introducing the modul kesedaran keselamatan cyber nasional that is will be part of the curriculum. It will be embedded in some like English courses, English class, Bahasa Malaysia, but using examples of cyberbullying and other cyber situation, so that teachers can talk to the children. Because right now, I think yang dah, because saya, Puan Aishah, Dr. Bahma, I think we consider ourselves as digital migrant lah. So we have to talk about these digital natives ni, yang ada budak-budak at the age of 15 and below, when they were born into this world, everything, their gadget is part of their life. So that's why these young children, Gen Y, Gen X, Gen Alpha, they are multitasking. They can do multitask, and that's why we have to talk to them. It is no more like last time, like our time, Puan Aishah ni, dulu kita, where we go anywhere, by Maghrib 7 o'clock must be back. If not, we have an SJR in front of the house. Oh, menggeletar.
Parents.
Parents, yes, with the proton behind the back. I like that. I like that. That picture they flat around. The worst SDR somebody can face is when the mother and the tangga to go up to the house to that. Then that's last time. But nowadays, the problem is we see that we can see our children in the house at the moment. They are in their room, but what is the threat that they are facing? What are the risks that they are looking at? Because as what Madam Aishah was saying just now, the smartphone is just like a computer, and Dr. Bahma was saying that it is part of the legal. I mean, like it's just like another computer act. If you misuse that, then you will answer for it. So please, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we are doing now, trying to go biarlah melentur buluh biarlah rebung. We have to go back to the schools, and we are doing now. That's why I'm Penang at the moment. We are going to do a survey on approximately the whole schools of Malaysia with UUM and the Ministry of Education. We are trying to come up with a survey of students. What is the level of kesedaran that we are having at the moment? And cyberbully is one of the main things that we are looking into, to ensure that people first and foremost understand, and people would adhere to it and know what is right and what is wrong.
Okay, thank you, Colonel Mus.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best for your endeavor on the survey.
Thank you.
I would like to move on to Dr. Bahma with one more question, Dr. Bahma. You mentioned about a specific and a standalone law to address cyberbullying cases in Malaysia, right? Now, what are the challenges that you might face or you will face in ensuring that the proposed legislation is being enacted in a timely manner? We know that cyberbullying is real, so does COVID-19, and it needs to be addressed immediately, not 2 years down the road or 5 years down the road. So what are the challenges that you may encounter in ensuring that the legislation is on its way?
All right. The first challenge I would say will be the actual contents of the law. Okay, what are the things we want to put in, and what are the issues that we want to be addressed? There might be some complex issues, because cyberbullying is not a simple offense like stealing or theft or even murder from the legal point of view. So the problem would be, of course, another problem, like you said, challenges would be what to put inside, and then how to cater for the different kinds of offenders, whether it's a young offender or a young adult offender or an adult offender. Number 3, it would be also the, again, awareness, like Colonel Moose succinctly put it. Because, you know, a lot of people, the law is there, but a lot of people say, oh, I didn't know this was the law. Actually, you shouldn't say that. It is not an excuse. You cannot go to court and say, oh, I don't know this was a law. Let me put it this way. If it is a crime face-to-face, it is a crime online. All right? It's a crime online. And even though you may think that cyberspace gives you anonymity, no, it doesn't. All right? Computer scientists, forensic experts can find out where you are. Like that boy who was harassing Ain Husnisa, they discovered who he is. Now, the challenge is, like you said, the implementation. All right? Again, we want to involve everyone. So not just lawyers, not just judges. It will be counselors. It will be people who have psychiatrists, people who have experience in cyber issues. Colonel can be one example, you know. So we want to tap the best talents from different disciplines or different strata of society. So people shouldn't look at, there's not only lawyers and judges here, don't want to. No, it's not going to be that. And then the implementation must be across the board. That means from police right up to Johor, every state must observe. So we are looking for a federal law. So for example, if you say, leave it to the states to enact, some states may think there's bigger priorities than cyberbullying. Some states will have the law, but other states don't. So for example, let's say Selangor has got a law against cyberbullying, but Johor doesn't. So if it is illegal in Selangor, but it is not illegal in Johor, okay, that's not what we want. We want the application of the law, universal meaning across the board to the whole country. So we want a federal law. And also then, of course, the challenges would be more of the implementation rather than the content of the law, I think. Then we need to actually, again, raise awareness. And, you know, legal awareness is very important for Aishah, very important. Members of public should know what your rights and obligations of the law are, under the law are. You know, many people come and say, oh, I didn't know this was wrong. I didn't know that was wrong. No, it's not. And then again, this is something that both you and I, we've been propagating. Remember, computer ethics and computer netiquette. Treat people the way you want to be treated. All right. And like Colonel said, very, very apt, do not respond. Do not enter into a flaming war. Okay? Do not respond, do not enter into a flaming war. They call it flaming because there's always the extent of nastiness. Don't increase the nastiness. Keep it to a minimum, minimize it. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening out there, if you are being cyberbullied, all right, do not keep it to yourselves. Go and speak to somebody who can advise you, especially young people. Don't talk to your friends because your friends will be equally as ignorant. They can't help you. They probably will give you the wrong answers. Kamu hantar aja lah, kenapa kamu diam? No, don't do that. Speak to your parents, or if you're at school or university, you'll have a student guidance, guide, or a counselor or an academic advisor. Believe me, go and talk to your academic advisors. We are not nasty people, you know. We are not people who are so strict with you. That's the reason why people are known as advisors. We are there to advise you and to guide you. I'm going slightly out of the tangent in answering your question, Purnasha, because I need to, like Colonel also has done it, we need to emphasize on awareness and education.
Yeah.
Okay. So this will be also one of the challenges we would face. How many people are aware? So I'm hoping that once our law is there, then we will go across the country. We have road shows. We'll be called by TV and radio. So far, no radio or TV has invited us to talk on cyberbullying. And okay, I'm hoping we should be able to do that. But I think our main challenge would be raising awareness amongst public and the implementation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bahma. It's very interesting, and I hope those listeners out there, especially the youth, you are not alone. there are avenues and channels where you can highlight the incidents that you face, because cyberbullying can have a traumatic effect throughout the life if you keep it to yourself. Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Bahma. Thank you, Colonel Mustaffa. Let's see the time check. It's 11:41, and I think we are more or less on track. But I just have one last question for Colonel Moose. Okay, Colonel Moose. In your presentation, you mentioned that how this COVID-19 pandemic and the MCO have driven people to work from home, and then they spend more and more time on the computer, on the internet, okay? And sometimes it's used positively and sometimes it's used negatively. So getting in this situation, how do you think that, as parents, we are all parents ourselves, how do we ensure that we will be able to monitor? Okay, as we all know, there is no censorship in internet, right? And that is one of the government's promise. So how as parents we are able to ensure that our students do not fall into that negative addiction, okay, or even get bullied in cyberbully scenario. Over to you, Colonel.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This is a very hard question to answer to any parents, because I have one 17-year-old at home who has been in front of me. Wow, I'm not saying that I doubt him, but kadang-kadang when I open up the door, even though I should not be doing that, when he's playing with some of he's online gaming with other friends, and then this is orang kata from the perspective of parents. I mean, kita memang, as cyber parenting, you should be friendly with them. You should be working together with them. Tapi at a certain point, I have make it a point at 12:30 at 1 a.m. every day. I shut off the internet. No more game, no more nothing. I'm sorry, I have to be crude, but that is the only way. And then I know that he's going to have a good sleep that night. So when you are under my watch, you should be following. I'm sorry I'm military ni, dia kena ikut sikit lah. But then again, you have to be a little bit firm lah when it comes to this. I know you have to be psychologically a bit friendly them, do not stalk them and all those things. But then again, we have to put our foot down somewhere. So the rule of thumb is that why should they be playing? I mean, on weekdays, during school days, until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning? No way. Not in my book. You see. So at that time, I shut off the internet. Tomorrow morning kita sama-sama buka on the internet. Okay, that's one. And secondly, always orang kata see. I mean, you as parents, the government may not filter your children. I mean the internet, but you as parents, you can filter your anak punya computer. You I mean, you are the one who bought that computer for him. So these are the rules. I'm sorry lah, but I'm crude. But then again, if it works for me, I think it can work for you. I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. Memang you have to be friend with them and all those things, but rules is rules. Okay. I mean, if I want to put any kind of filtering that you cannot go to certain website, especially, I mean, we as cybersecurity, we are looking at so many incredible, yang teruk punya website like Tumblr, as if Tumblr ni, to me lah, personally, it's just like ada conspiracy lah. I saw in there budak sekolah apa ni pakai and all those things. I mean, what is all this? I mean, people are doing that. Is it something that you want to menonjolkan ni apa nama tu? But it's not only Malay, Chinese, Indian, they have all that under there. I mean, but it is something yang kata degrading, and these are the things that I think we have to do something about it. And sorry, I'm passionate about this, Madam Moderator. Yes. I mean, please, orang kata we have to do that, because the thing is, it's high time we have to do something. We have to work together. I mean, the government agencies have to work together on one platform. We want to ensure that your children is safe, because right now, the more time you spend online, the more risk that you are looking at. But then again, at the end of the day, do not be afraid of the technology.
Okay.
Embrace the technology. And
Okay.
if something is too good to be true, it's not true.
Okay. Thank you, Colonel Mus.
You're
Very
welcome.
interesting comment indeed. I shall now read the comment from the audience from Mr. Ravichandran, Ceylon. Okay, Mr. Ravichandran says, breakdown of family system and values coupled with the advance of communication technology that allows people tend to commit cyberbullying. It all starts with parents and their teaching at home that creates disciplined society. Back to basic family. Very true.
Agreed.
We all
Agreed.
concur
Agreed.
with that because discipline starts from home, right? And like what we say, if you want others to respect you, you have to respect others. And I still believe the cardinal principle of if you have nothing nice to say, then might as well
Say it. That's
say
right.
it,
Agreed.
right?
Agreed.
Right. Agreed.
Actually, Pon, Madam Moderator, I have one comment to what Mr. Ravi had said earlier. Last year, I don't know whether Colonel Mus was there. I think it was last year. UNICEF organized a webinar on cyberbullying, and it was all young children and young adults and so on. And they were asking questions. And you know what? The overwhelming response was the last people they trust are their parents.
Yes.
You know, and that is really quite something scary. I think we Malaysians, we need to change our attitude towards the children. If your child comes to you and complains he or she is cyberbullying, don't tell them, oh, who asked you to spend so many hours on the internet? That's our parents. That's what our parents used to do. It make you feel guilty, you know. I mean, so don't do that, you know, because if you do that, your child will hide more things from you. And then one day you will find that something bad had happened to your child, right? If the child comes and complains to you, speak to the child, see where the cyberbullying issue arises, and then deal with it in a very positive manner. This is the 21st century. We are no longer living in the 18th or 19th century or with the mother holding the rotan, you know. From me, with my father, you know, where we with the rotan and we are so scared. Maghrib didn't apply to Muslims alone, applied to us as well. As soon as we hear the mosque, the imam saying something, we have to rush home and then Monday and all that. So, but you know, so it happened to us. But parents, we don't want your child to go somewhere else and get the wrong advice. You want to come to you.
Dr. Bahma, if I want to add to that, we come across that very short one, Madam Moderator. Sorry, we have come across school children when we were doing some survey. There are quite a big number of them have 2 or 3 accounts of Facebook or social media.
Correct.
So why do you have so many accounts? One is the one I have my parent in it. One is the one that I have my teacher in it, and one is the one that I have with my friends. Then, so these are the things lah, orang kata, that we have to look into. Tapi you know your children when they started different behavior. They are scared. Dia benci pada komputer suddenly. Then they are not orang kata ceria. These are the tanda-tanda that you have to look.
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong. Correct.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very interesting discussion. And we know that we are living in the 21st century. Maybe how children should be treated may no longer apply like what we have been treated before. But certain basic fundamental rules still applies, right? Okay. So now we come to the end of the webinar. So as the closing remark for this webinar, I will conclude that cyberbullying is becoming more rampant now because it can be carried out anonymously without the bullies having to face the real consequences. And they thought they can hide behind it. And Malaysia is no exception to this phenomenon. So cyberbullying can drive victims into depression, anxiety, or even to suicide, as it is happening now. So cyberbullying can affect anyone, but most prominently, it can affect today's youth because today's youth is our future generation. And we do not want to take cyberbullying to be treated as a norm. Okay? So eliminating cyberbullying is not one person effort, not one organization effort, or even not one nation's effort. It is a combination of effort of all. And this is something that we have to realize it cannot be eliminated overnight. Okay, so it would come through system of education, awareness, and maybe making people aware that cyberbullying is not acceptable. So based on the cyberbullying project, which is led by Dr. Bahma as the project leader of MMU research team, we are pleased that the government of Malaysia is willing to accept that cyberbullying is a problem and laws can be put in place to help discourage this activity for the interests of our society, our children, and for the nation as a whole. Okay, so before we conclude, I would like to call upon Dr. Bahma and Colonel Moose to give their 5 minutes takeaway message
5 minutes.
respectively. Okay, and I will be very strict with these 5 minutes.
Okay,
Over to you,
okay.
Dr.
Acknowledge.
Bahma.
All right. Shall I start first? Okay. Thank you, Ponasha, for that wonderful summary of what we are trying to achieve. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want the law to control our lives. Let's face it. Okay, we don't want the law to control our lives, but this is the last resort. You know, we don't see the problem lessening, so we are hoping by bringing in a law, the problem of cyberbullying will decrease. Again, interestingly, the Australians have informed us that cyberbullying issues in Australia have decreased after they passed a law against cyberbullying. All right. Number two, until the law is passed, you know, I don't think that you can do what you like online. There are other laws, and you can be caught if you were found committing cyberbullying acts, especially under the Communications and Multimedia Act. All right. You know, you have seen so many incidents. For example, the Tokyo Olympics, when our athlete was refused a medal because somebody from Ukraine objected, and the poor guy from Ukraine was really cyberbullied by Malaysians. All right, come on, let's take some pride and dignity in ourselves. What enjoyment do you get in bullying somebody else? All right, so think about yourself. Treat people the way you want to be treated. All right, you're not alone. Like Ponasha said, you're not alone. If you feel you're being cyberbullied, or if you're not sure that what you're doing is cyberbullying, don't do it. If you're not sure that whatever comment you're making, oh, I'm making ni gurau aja, senda je, ini bukan sindiran, main-main. Okay, think about if the main-main was done to you, how would you feel? All right, so that is my general outlook. Thank you for, again, I would like to thank everybody. Cybersecurity has been a very strong supporter of our project. Multimedia University also have, you know, allowed us to go ahead, and of course our Kementerian Komunikasi dan Multimedia Malaysia, who's been very supportive. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as we can, we will try and keep the public updated on the progress of our work. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Bahma. Over to you, Colonel. 5 minutes time.
Okay, I don't think I need 5 minutes. What Dr. Bahma has said enough, and I just want to add in and also trying to bring up one important day every year. Do you know that we do celebrate Safer Internet Day every year? It falls on the unique thing about this. It falls on the second day of the second month of the second week, and second month of every year. So this year we have our own theme. That is what we call the Etika Cyber or Cyber Ethics. And what we are trying to point out to get until today, we are propagating Etika Cyber or Cyber Ethics. And also I talk about the self-regulation just now. What MMU is doing is beautiful. I mean, trying to bring up to develop that anti-cyberbully law. But then again, as what Dr. Bahma has said, all these laws are important. But then again, that is not but that's not the end of it. It's still self-regulation. And the three components of Etika Cyber is first and foremost etiquette. What you do, respect and be courteous to others in a globally connected world. Act with empathy on social media. As what you said, do unto yourself as what you do unto others. Knowledge, understand your digital footprint. Remember, when you go online, you will always leave jejak orang kata dulu jejak kasih, but jejak digital. And when you have that jejak or digital footprint, we can find you. Okay, I'm not threatening you, we can find you. Okay, and respect privacy right, show empathy to others, and last but not least, practice good cyber hygiene. Ada kebersihan juga. Beware of phishing, must be savvy on social media, click wisely, and think before you post. Itu
Okay.
saja. Sekian.
Thank you, Kena.
Ya.
Sorry. Thank you,
Okay.
Kena, for your views. Like I say, Colonel is an army force person, so don't play. Take seriously of that advice. All right. Before I end the webinar, I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Dr. Bahma Sivasubramaniam and Lieutenant Colonel Retired Colonel Mustaffa bin Ahmad for that very enlightening session. Okay. To our RC Chairperson, Dr. Naria, and RC Center team, Faculty of Management, the organizer of this webinar, Industrial Collaboration Engagement Center, ICEC and Research, Industrial Collaboration Engagement RISE Division, Strategic Marketing and Mission and Recruitment SMART Division, MMU Studio, and all technical support team for making this webinar possible. And lastly, but not the least, to the audience, including Mr. Ramachandran of Ceylon, the audience who have been with us throughout this session. Hope we all have gained useful insight on cyberbullying in Malaysia. And if there's any shortcoming in this session, please accept my apologies, including the stunt that has been done by my cat, very unexpected. So everyone, I wish you all the best, take care, and stay safe. Have a nice day, and we'll see you again in other webinar series of MMU. Thank you, and bye-bye.